Welcome to The Explainer. Right now, the Middle East is on an absolute knife's edge. Today, we're breaking down a massive, coordinated military assault that has basically set the entire region on fire, opening up new fronts and putting the rest of the world on high alert.
So, you need to understand, this was not some random series of events. This was a carefully planned, multi-front military operation that kicked off with an enormous barrage of missiles and drones, with Iran really calling the shots.
They're calling the operation True Promise 4, and it unleashed a staggering 86th wave of missiles. But the real story here isn't just the number of missiles, it's the coordination. This wasn't Iran acting alone. It was more like a symphony of destruction, with its allied groups striking multiple nations all at once.
And just look at the geographic scale of this thing. It's staggering. We're seeing direct attacks from Iran and Houthi forces in Yemen, and the targets stretch way beyond Israel. We're talking about the UAE, Bahrain, even a U.S. military base in Saudi Arabia, and radar infrastructure in Kuwait. This is a regional firestorm.
Okay, so let's break down the strategy. The first pillar of this coordinated assault was a very clear and calculated attack on the economic lifelines of Israel and its allies. The idea wasn't just to cause military damage, but to try and cripple their entire ability to function.
The first major blow? It landed right on the Bazan oil refinery in Haifa. This is the very heart of Israel's energy sector. Missiles slammed into the complex, setting off massive fires and sending immediate shockwaves through the country's economy.
And to really get the impact, just think about this number. The Bazan refinery processes 60% of all the oil that powers Israel. You take that out and you've got an immediate, severe energy crisis. The lights go out both literally and figuratively.
You know, the sheer scale of this place is just immense. It can process nearly 200,000 barrels of crude oil every single day. This isn't just some plant, it's a national strategic asset, and now it's a bullseye.
So here's the crucial point. This one target is responsible for the majority of Israel's most essential fuels. We're talking 65% of its diesel, almost 60% of its gasoline, and over half of its jet fuel. The ripple effects for transportation, for industry, and for the military, they're immediate.
And look, the economic war didn't just stop with oil. Strikes also hammered the Neo Hovav industrial complex near Beersheba, which is a major hub for Israel's chemical industry. That attack injured 11 people and brought up the terrifying possibility of dangerous chemical leaks, adding a potential environmental crisis on top of the military one.
And, it didn't take long for this thing to spill right across the borders. Iran also took responsibility for missile and drone strikes on huge aluminum plants in both the United Arab Emirates and Bahrain. The reason they gave? Iran claimed these facilities were tied into the U.S. military-industrial complex.
Okay, so we've covered the economic angle. But this assault wasn't just about money and resources. It was also designed to, blind Israel's military through a really sophisticated attack on its technological nerve centers.
So then Iran announces a targeted drone attack on a key technology center in Haifa that belongs to Elta Systems. Now, Elta is an absolute cornerstone of Israeli defense. They build the very eyes and ears of its military. We're talking radar, early warning systems, satellite tech, the whole shebang.
And the goal here? It was brutally simple, to punch a massive hole in Israel's defensive shield. By hitting Elta, the plan was to cripple its ability to detect and intercept incoming attacks, which makes every single wave of missiles and drones that follows that much more deadly.
In this attack on military infrastructure, it was all over the place. They hit critical fuel depots at Israel's main airport, Ben Gurion. They even hit the Sultan Air Base in Saudi Arabia, injuring 12 U.S. military personnel. Even radar at Kuwait's international airport was taken out, all in an effort to further blind the region's defenses.
So, just as the region was reeling from all these attacks, the conflict took a really dramatic and dangerous turn. A completely new front opened up from the south, and this move fundamentally redrew the entire strategic map.
Think about this. For the very first time, Houthi forces, who are based down in Yemen, started launching their own ballistic missiles directly at Israeli cities, including the southern port of Eilat and the city of Beersheba.
This is a massive, massive strategic shift. Up until this point, the Houthis had pretty much kept their military operations inside Yemen. For them to directly enter the fight against Israel, it signals a formal alliance and a dramatic widening of the war. It injects a powerful, battle-hardened force right into the heart of the conflict.
And, people watching this unfold were not missing the gravity of this moment. One analyst really captured the chilling fear of what this could all mean, saying that if these new dynamics hold, it could lead to the worst history in the wars on this earth. That sentiment just underscores the massive global stakes of this widening conflict.
So, you've got crippled energy, blinded defense systems, and a major new player in the war. The huge question now is, what does all of this mean for the rest of us? Because the shockwaves are already being felt around the world. Look, when you have destroyed refineries in Israel, and you have this new Houthi threat to shipping in the Red Sea, right near the vital Suez Canal, that sends tremors through the global economy. This is a direct threat to two of the world's most critical maritime choke points, and that risks soaring energy prices and massive supply chain disruptions for literally everyone.
And that's really the crucial takeaway here. What started as a regional conflict is now choking the very arteries of global trade. The question isn't just about stability in the Middle East anymore. It's about whether the world is hurtling towards a much larger and far more devastating global conflict. The fuse has been lit. The only question is, can anyone extinguish it?